could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in the wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral on parade. I did it to myself cause I always thought you would feel the same, and I know you don't. Drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. Let's hit the brakes. I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space, so I gave you all the states. Every night a different place. Used to think we're getting closer, now we're drifting away. And all I can say is that I'm feeling wasted. I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't.
When we were on, I always thought we would make it. Now you're gone.
You can tell me that you're fine, but I really know you're lying. I won't. I can show you to the door, but you know that I want more. You know. So tell me what you really need. Tell me what you see in me. You know I can show you things you've never seen before. Baby, we should go out, take over the whole town, doing things your friends only talk about. Let's go on a late drive, switch seats at the stoplights, forget tomorrow, we only have tonight. You and I could get high in the backseat, fake New York life sitting in a taxi. Head out the window screaming I'm too young to die. I'd bring you home, what I know I'm missing. 2 a.m. we're drunk in the kitchen, laughing on the floor as we watch reruns of Friends. So tell me what you really need. Tell me what you see in me. You know I can show you things you've never seen before. Baby, we should go out, take over the whole town, doing things your friends only talk about. Let's go on a late drive, switch seats at the stoplights, forget tomorrow, we only have tonight. Maybe we should go out, take over the whole town, doing things your friends only talk about. Let's go on a late drive, switch seats at the stoplights, forget tomorrow, we only have tonight. Baby, we should go out, take over the whole town, doing things your friends only talk about. Let's go on a late drive.
Hello, 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 welcome. First time on RLSS. My name's Anthony. Joining me tonight is my good friend Deelo for the commentary.
Woot woot. Hey everyone, how y'all doing?
Just getting things set up. I'm excited for our first Rocket League cast. We've got Olivett Gaming versus Mach 10 Academy, which is, from all the lore, all the background researching that you and I have been doing for these last few days, Deelo, this matchup genuinely has me so excited. I mean, this is the matchup for number 2 position in the standings.
Yeah, for sure. High stakes. All these players you got to imagine are feeling the pressure, but the synergy to be had here. Some of these teams just really know how to move that ball down the field, put it in the right pocket. So it's going to come down to good synergy. It's going to come down to good communication, not letting those stakes make the pressure crack you.
And, just on top of that, as if their pressure wasn't enough, they've got us two buffoons just bumbling our way through and waffling through our first Rocket League cast. So
Sorry.
it adds a bit of an edge to it, I feel like.
I would certainly feel afraid about what these people are going to say. Will they not be able to understand the immense tech that I'm pulling off right now?
These
bumbling noobs, but hey, we're going to do our darndest. That's all you can do. But I'm certainly looking forward to the show these guys are about to put on for us.
Me too. Thank you for the follows and stuff while we've been in our waiting screen. I definitely saw those and I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm really excited for the first RLSS cast. Glad to see you in there, Tommy. Let's take a look at stats while we wait for things to get set up. Let's kind of look at their stats. We'll talk through it a bit, see what we're looking at. Those are the best stats. So as we're peeking at the stats, and I'm getting us all set up here. There we go. Now we got it. What strikes me, and what really has struck me from watching their games, is that these are two really different teams, but in a lot of ways, they are similar. One of the things in particular that stands out to me is the team play from both of these guys. They're so great.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be an important asset to you, and you can see it there reflected. I mean, neither team, at the very least through the stats, is reflecting much physicality here. You're seeing it's pretty comparable as far as the demos go. But do you know that Olivett does like to play a bit less on the physical side, do like to play a bit more synergetically? So it's going to be interesting to see which side of that they decide to go for here. I mean, 80% win streak, though. Do not lie. That is some good stuff there. But to be fair, Mach 10 played more games. And as you play more games, you're gaining more experience. Get that level up and just trounce the competition. So it's going to be a question of whether that confidence, that momentum is going to be more important, or that wisdom.
Well, one thing that's really stuck out to me about all of that in particular is that in their games, they tend to kind of come alive the further their teamwork gets rolling. And something I've heard said repeatedly from casters who are watching all of that is that they kind of have this way about them, this sort of... I almost want to call it... I guess cohesion is a good way of putting it, where they play off each other almost more so than there is any solo star. I mean, there's certainly players who stand out consistently, but there's something about that team play and something about the fact that teams are held together so heavily by each other, and it's not that there's one crazy star who gets 8 to 9 goals a game, but, it's a one-man band.
Mm-hmm. And I think with Rocket League, and of course, this is going to be potentially just my complete lack of experience with the scene showing, but I think the fact that it's a game that inherently, I feel like, doesn't necessarily put people on a pedestal. Everyone is a car. Legitimately,
well,
everyone is a car.
Sometimes the cars are on pedestals.
Sometimes, all right, true, sometimes the cars are on pedestals, but at the end of the day, Anthony, they are all cars. You're not seeing the person behind the windshield wipers there who's going to be piloting that machine. So in that sense, genuinely though, in that sense, whereas other games might have, unique, maybe differentiated characters, everyone here is very much playing as part of a team, and the game itself and the mechanics of it reflect that. And you have to imagine that somewhat formulates the mentality of these players potentially on all of it, and that's maybe what's informing their pathway here to more synergetic gameplay as opposed to those for glory kind of plays.
Welcome in, and I'm glad you're here to support the Olives. I love the team name so much, I cannot even begin to tell you. So the fact that there's somebody up in arms waving the olive flag gets me even more excited.
The olive branch, you might even say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But there's no peace on this battlefield, Anthony. It's all blood.
All blood.
I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Big fan of olives too. The meat of vegetables, if you will.
The meat of the vegetables.
It is, man. It's a superior. It's a good pizza topping. It's just it's got good flavor to it. Got that good umami savoriness. You can't complain.
Oh boy, thanks for all the support coming in. Mach 10W incoming. All right, so we've already got some splits. There's going to be a prediction too. I am kind of one man showing some aspects of stuff, so some things will be delayed, but we'll definitely let you go crazy with that and discuss things out. Just kind of waiting on everyone to get settled in. Be all ready. I am very excited. Very excited.
I'm so excited. It's almost.
I know you and I have been talking about this all week.
I mean, yeah, dude, it's gonna be interesting to say the least here. Hopefully they give us a good show to commentate over for our first time here, inaugural commentating here from these two.
Yeah,
as far as
sure.
Rocket League goes. So looking forward to that. Appreciate you all for watching and giving us the opportunity to do it for an audience. Appreciate your support here as the more chimes come in, and we appreciate the players putting down the time and their effort to make sure they give us a good performance.
Me too, and we are getting close to ready time, so I will go ahead and get that prediction started before I kind of open the floodgates. It's got to figure out.
Love some democracy.
I just got to get my Twitch streamer shoes on. We're so used to both hanging out behind production, you know?
Yeah, it's a bit strange, honestly, having the rest of my room be visible. Please do not mind, guys, the clouds painted on the ceiling of my room. I never repainted my room from when I was a child, and that is just how
the only thing that I've always felt like would make it better is if you had, like, NASCAR wallpaper, you know?
Dude, that would be sick, right? But no, I chose jungle theme when I was 5, so like I just, I never looked back from that. That's why the fan's shaped like a leaf. So that would be too clashing. You can't have like, modern man and technology combined with that. But NASCAR would certainly fit the theme of Rocket League, so kind of kicking myself in the ass for that one.
Absolutely.
Unfortunate. Maybe next go around, but maybe my next house I'll rectify that one. But it's gonna be certainly some jitters here going into this. I'm looking forward to the first Rocket League cast that we got going.
Me too. Is there anything in particular, we've said it a couple of times, you and I are relatively new to the scene, but we're not unfamiliar with just straight competitiveness. Is there anything
Correct.
in particular you're looking for, especially kind of out of the gate from either of these teams? Because for me, I'm looking for confidence because, this is a big matchup. Playoffs are quite literally right around the corner. You want to hit the ground driving.
Yeah, nice. Sweet, dude. It's interesting because I think confidence in a game like this is there's multiple pathways to show it. Whereas I think in other games where it's more like the objective is inherently oriented around destroying, eliminating the enemy, that's obviously confidence obviously comes in the form of aggression towards that enemy. But here there's multiple ways you can go about it. You can go for demos, which is certainly a means of showing confidence that you're able to target and pick off the enemy one by one. Or you can also show confidence in very just simply aggressive offensive coordination and movements that are a bit more complex. Show your tech, show your skills, get those flip resets in, do all those fancy mumbo jumbo moves that I learned about over the past couple of weeks. But you can also show it through just proper trust in your team to play good defense. There's a lot of means of doing it. So in that sense, yes, I'm looking for confidence here, but I'm not quite sure what form it's going to take here, Anthony.
Yeah, and for Olivett and Mach 10, and I mentioned this before, but I'll dive a little bit further in depth while we do wait for them to finish getting set up for the game, is that Mach 10 and Olivett have two very different styles that I feel like will be interesting to see matched up. And the perseverance of Mach 10 is something that's really stuck out to me. And Olivett, I mentioned the team play, and I kind of feel like team play coming to a head against perseverance will just inherently lead to a really interesting matchup because it's not like anyone's going to back down at any point.
Yeah. No one's hitting the surrender button for sure here, hopefully at the very least. So it's going to be interesting to see which of those kind of those options of the skill branch trees. If we're playing a Telltale game right now, you got to decide which one that you're gonna go with. You're gonna click X, you're gonna click square. Those are different controllers, but which one are you gonna go with here? Actually, no, that is the same controller. It's all PS3. But anyway, neither here nor there. It's all about which pathway is gonna lead to more success. Is it experience? Is it perseverance? Determination? Is it gonna be just simple tenacity, aggression shown on the battlefield? Who's to say, Anthony? We're gonna let the
Who's to say? It's time to
tires
get in,
fall
Deelo. Sorry about that, my friend. We're still getting very used to things around here, but we're in and we're gaming, Deelo.
Oh my gosh, indeed. These cars are certainly driving down, and instantly the aggression being put on by Olivett. In fact, a very nice shot there is going to actually find the first
Are you
goal.
kidding?
Up 20 seconds? Calm down, guys. It's their first time.
It's literally just like what we talked about. Just coming out of the gates, firing, rolling. Just I'm so impressed by that. That's exactly what we wanted to see, Deelo.
That was unabated aggression, and it was shown through one of the passes that we mentioned here was just go. Just step on the gas pedal, and Mach 10 needs to answer back quickly, or else all confidence will be lost.
Mach 10, we did mention, while they need to keep that confidence up, they are a team that is able to bounce back. So if it's not going to be bothering for them to come out the gate, lose a point like that, I wouldn't be surprised if their mindset still says 0-0. And, you know, this is the first time Olivett has come out of the gate like that and scored early and made it happen. That's kind of their thing, and a lot of it tends to fall behind Solonalo.
Very fair point there, but now Mach 10, like you said, trying to bounce back, trying to mount their own offensive. Seems that Olivett are really just not intent on letting any pressure be mounted by the opposing team. We're seeing a bit more, I mean, when there was only 20 seconds, how could you really say what the pattern was? But we're seeing a bit more aerial play here. Teams are actually trying to get in their flow, get in their rhythm. But a lot of 50-50s here as Olivett just hurls themselves at the ball, no matter where it might be.
Sima Prus looking to get something set up here, and Solonalo is ready to follow up, but luckily Techie is right there. You know, I was going to talk about Wizard for a moment, because that's somebody who's I've seen play really, really impressive defense, really consistently for Olivett, and that's something that Olivett uses as a strength, because Wizard's able to sit at the net, control the pace of the defense, but at any given moment, a shot can come raining out that can totally catch Mach 10 off guard.
And you're seeing there that Olivett's really trying to mount just a complete defense. We saw a bit of messing with from Mach 10. They were trying to hop inside the goal, but you have it right there. In fact, staying inside the goal won't do you any good.
That was so clean. Look, I mean, that was so easy. It makes me feel like I could do it, and then I would get into my arthritis would kick in. What a great shot there. It was just, I feel like that caught Olivett completely off guard. I think they were almost waiting for something more complicated.
I would have to agree, just based off the fact that you saw one of the members just kind of just do a little bunny hop up in the air. Was expecting maybe a bit more flash and panache before an actual shot on goal was made there. Nice flip reset there from Mach 10, but a nice answer there from Olivett. They're just meeting each other in the air, a dance of the angels. But there's a big shot, and it's going to be a miss, but it barely bounces off the backboard. Olivett thank their lucky stars for that evasion.
Now Solonalo's running it back, but Esfru was very, very ready for that one. Perfect defense there. Mach 10 needed that when they got it. Now Techie also sends it back towards that Olivett side, but Solonalo was waiting. So far, Olivett is doing a really good job of keeping the pressure on, because even through the score of Mach 10, it's really felt like Olivett is dictating the control of the ball.
And if you're doing that, you're already in a solid spot, but if you're getting demo, there's a solid work.
Oh!
And they're trying to shoot it down, but it's not going to be successful. Nice bounce off the wall, but blocked here by the members of Olivett.
Busby with a crazy save. I can't believe that didn't count. And all that for it just to be a slow roller to go in to give Olivett Gaming their second goal.
An excellent job there by Solonalo, recognizing the situation and just following it to its ends of fruition, making sure to not let the chips lie where they may. Proactive player there. That's what's going to get you the game.
2 minutes left. Next kickoff, Olivett trying to do more of the same and keep that pressure on the Mach 10 side. That's the thing that's just been their game plan all along. And one thing that's been interesting is that Olivett hasn't had to rely on Wizard playing immaculate defense as much so far in this game one as we're accustomed to seeing come out from Olivett, as we got a demo for demo there as the ball does make its way back to that Mach 10 side.
50-50 going to be won there by Olivett, but it's launched back to the side. They do have some decent positioning, but a nice meet in the sky there is going to actually put it back on the side of Olivett, and a fantastic save is going to keep them in the game.
Solonalo putting those gloves on, impressing Wizard, I'm sure. Now Busby trying to get something, but so far, Mach 10 has not really been able to get any clear centers. They've had good clears. They've been able to get the ball out when they need to, but they've had no real opportunities. There's been no plate setters so far for Mach 10. And I think that might be one big thing that if they can clean up, they might be able to find themselves getting a lot more pressure that they've been lacking. Busby, not going to be quite in the mark. Techie did have a good setup that time.
And all that were prepared for it this time. But there's complex movements, and it's going to come to fruition. Esper off the side. Once again, those corner shots, you're just never seeing it coming like a phantom. Excellent bounce there from the corner, chips it in. Can't fault that. Scoreboard reads 2-2.
This is exactly what all the other casters in RLSS talk about. They talk about Olivett and their team play. And that's exactly what they're doing so far. We haven't seen anything flashy, but it feels like every single moment where somebody needs to be somewhere, they're Johnny on the spot, and it never misses. And that's the thing to look for. That's what you have to look for if you're rooting for Olivett. You need to see more and more of that team play, because that's how they can bring it to Mach 10. That's how they can take the birds out of the sky.
And I like the attempt there from Billy, but it's not going to quite come to fruition. Don't have the S-Fru tech just unlocked yet. But you're right. It's been a lot of positioning, more so than fancy feet, or fancy tires, I suppose in this case, fancy treads, that have been winning a lot of these goals. You're not really seeing complex, synergetic movements necessarily. It's just knowing where to be at the right time, and where to be at the right time might be that back forward. Not going to be able to quite find the goal, though, to secure yourself the lead.
10 seconds left. Pressure is currently on Olivett in their corner, but it gets sent back out, but S-Fru was waiting. 5 seconds. We're going to see an overtime in game 1. Keeps up in the air. Let's see how long they can keep the keep away alive. The shot's going to be off, sent to the side, sent back to the center. Gets stopped, but overtime it is.
Indeed. I mean, that was a good attempt. I love S-Fru's maneuverability in the air or on land. Just seems to know where to place the ball. And that's something that we've actually talked about prior behind the scenes, is S-Fru's ball control is just known for being A1. And you can see right there, try and maneuver, get a nice angle on it. But at the end of the day, can't be hero plays only, like we said even before we got into the game. You need to have some reliance on your teammates. Here comes the hit up there from B. Seems like he's got the solution, but Solanalo had to block.
But Techie was ready, and that's going to be game 1 going to Mach 10 Academy off the back of perfect timing from Techie. Calculated all the way. Game 1 goes the way of Mach 10. Absolutely hit the, wrong button on the first try, but that's okay. That's a Mach 10 victory. That's the big thing here. Absolutely impressive. I didn't expect it to go down the way that it did. I will say that much.
I mean, it was less than a 20-second goal in the beginning, right? So
yeah,
the question, and because of that, I think you could say, obviously, the scoreboard's still red for quite some time, 2-2, but that was just, I think, maybe a bit of an unexpected novelty play. I'm not going to call it a fluke. It still definitely required some well-timed movement there from members of Olivett, but by that point, you had to work just that much harder to catch the members of Mach 10 by surprise. And at the end of the day, if you have S-Fru on your team, it seems, you don't need anything but them dribbling skills, baby.
100%. One thing we talked about, too, was the defense that would come out from Class Wizard, and I feel like we did see that. But I think Solanalo really shined through as being a sneaky defender for Olivett as well.
You saw oftentimes one member of Olivett at the very least just hang back in the goal. Have to wonder if maybe they're hanging too far back at times. Some, like we saw for one of the goals that went in there from S-Fru, it was a bit fruitless to have your member there. Might have wondered if those resources could have been better dedicated to harass or bully S-Fru away from the ball, rather than trying to reactively wait for a shot on goal. It's an interesting question that they're going to have to consider come game 2, because the offense of Mach 10 is just a very powerful one. As we see the launch kickoff here, going to go the way of Mach 10, but Olivett trying to fight back.
So last game, and a lot of games from Olivett, they get out quick, they get that first score quick, and that's really their MO. And I want to see more of the same, but if I'm Mach 10, I want to put a stop to that. I want to say, no, not this time, no more. We're not playing around. We're not letting you get any more quick goals. That's a thing of the past, because if you can do that, if you can really step on the toes and stand in the face of Olivett, you can control the pace a little more, and you can kind of play to your strengths.
I'd certainly agree with that. I mean, Blitzkrieg, an effective method, but we all know how to end it for the Germans in World War II in the end. But right there, we're seeing some war tactics going on here. A lot of demos on either side. My God. Just crashed and burned. Everyone needs to calm down a little bit. Can't we all just get along?
Apparently not. We saw that actually a couple times in the previous game. There was at one point even a back-to-back demo. And that's not really the MO of, especially of Olivett. That's something that was talked about in their Week 4 matchup, is how little they do that. And excuse me? You can't just do that relaxed insane. Mach 10 Academy scoring first, this time on Olivett, and certainly catching the boys in blue off guard.
Yeah, you had Techie there dunking it down, and like we said in game one, it's about positioning. You don't necessarily have the shot on goal, but it's centered enough that if Busby's in position, that's going to be an open one. They're going to take the shot, it's going to succeed. 1-0 reads the scoreboard, and Mach 10's not letting up. They're indeed going full throttle here, but the aerial offensive, will it succeed?
Reminder, this is a game for second place. This is not something you can take easy, you can take too kindly. And Olivett, they've shown to be strong, but Mach 10 have shown to be fighters. They've shown to have heart in taking that game one. And we'll say it 100 more times. That sets the tone, and that puts the tone in a place that I highly doubt Olivett was expecting.
And without that, just not really a second win, but a first win of that immediate goal, we talked about before how Olivett's very momentum-based potentially with that 80% win rate. You might be relying on that more and not used to being on that back foot. No matter what game it is, when you're a competitive, dominant champion, you're not used to experiencing loss. And it can be sometimes what makes or breaks a good team. And right now, Mach 10 are looking to break, but good clear potentially here from Olivett. They need to find a way to move it on out.
Olivett doing a good job of playing defense for the time, but it can only last so long against the hyper-aggressive offense of Mach 10 so far. That's going to be their second goal. Techie just on point so far in this series.
You see, again there, Solanalo ran back to the goal, which is, of course, your best instinct, but at the same time went too far in. It's, again, a question of making sure that you're going where the ball will be versus the stagnant position of the goal. Obviously, it's the first place you want to head to, but you need to have a bit more nuanced positioning if you want to hope to actually block these shots coming in from all angles.
Mach 10, when they played 5CE, they played so heavily on momentum, just like this. It looked like an identical game, and they just had so much control because they never let 5CE Origins breathe, and that's exactly what they're doing to all of it. They don't have time to think because they're constantly on this insane defense. This is the most aggressive we've seen. This is the most we've seen the ball over on the side of Mach 10, and at that it's barely. And it just is so against what Olivett is used to, and Mach 10 is just they're playing things clean, and you got to keep up this aggro. You got to play good defense, just like Techie's doing with a nice clear. Does get caught by Wizard.
Could be in some trouble now. Mach 10 experiencing the rare feeling of being on the back foot here. Is a nice push back there from Solanalo to make sure it stays with the pressure on their side, but a great clear there from Mach 10 going to relieve a bit of that, and now they're back on the offensive. Here's the corner. Will they be able to find the passing game that they've been relying on?
Wizard?
Busby, unfortunately, flies back a bit wide. The whiff as well as the block. Mach 10 remains alive for now, but there's the rebound. No one's going to quite catch it. Mach 10 remains safe for now.
Wizard with some great plays, but just both times catching that crossbar and it not being able to make it in. And that's the exact defense that Mach 10 needs to keep playing if they want to take game two and get off to a start that Olivett won't be ready for. Busby is going to take out Solanalo to break things back down. I really like this position for Mach 10. They can work with this. And if I'm Olivett, that defense has to stay perfect, but you got to start playing offense. You can't do that!
No!
Busby going to get the credit, but we all saw it.
We will not mention the name of the player, partially because I couldn't see the name tag, but also partially because we've all been there.
Okay, but you know what? On the replay, great shot and tough to defend that. It looked a little different before replay, but that... honestly, that speaks to the name of what Olivett's been playing so far, and kind of just like what am I supposed to do kind of attitude almost.
But that's what I mean when I say reactive defense might not be the best approach here for Olivett, and it might have to be proactive defense. Meet them in the air before they can dunk it down, because at that point you're not only fighting the ball, you're fighting yourself and the potential for your own car to be the one that knocks it in finally. And Mach 10 back on the offensive. There's the decent clear, but Mach 10 just feel like even when it's on their side of the field, they never feel like they're really losing or breaking a sweat for it.
20 seconds left, and it's miracle time for Olivett. It wouldn't be the first time it's happened, but that window's closing even further. Yeah,
we saw it ourselves.
And now with 10 seconds to go and 3 down, it's going to take more than a miracle for Olivett, which means that Mach 10 has more than brought it so far to Olivett. They've already got him on the ropes. It's already a match point. And it's hard. I don't know. Find me the person who could have predicted this, essentially. How long are we going to keep this up, boys? I've seen them keep it up a long time. I've seen them do it like 20 seconds to Tommy Buckets before. Are they going to do it to us here? Still up.
Why not? Just, I mean, they're really trying to get on the scoreboard here. Olivett trying to their darndest to keep up a fight, but at the end of the day, Mach 10 come up victorious there. Doing
You know,
vibing to that music, my bad.
you were vibing. Did I catch you off guard?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's hard not to kind of feel like this game is shocking, and you know there were people when they announced the cast tonight, and you know that it was somebody's first one on here, and so on and so forth. There was more than a lot of people that were all kind of on the same page of like, oh, there's a chance of this being, you know, a back and forth. This could go 5, so on and so forth, and that has not been the case so far, and not to the fault of Olivett. We've seen the talent, we've seen the defense consistently, but it's really just been the you know, I talked about the momentum of Mach 10, and they hit that full Blazing Angels type beat.
Yeah, they're crossing the sky, they're doing flips, they're doing barrel rolls, they're doing every maneuver around. They really are just flying circles right now. And I say flying literally, because at the same time I do feel like their aerial mobility is just, they're more daring, they're more adventurous with it. And that's maybe just a symptom of when you're on that back foot, but I feel like we're seeing a lot more boots on the ground, wheels on the ground. How many times can I make card jokes? I'm sorry, everyone. I'm really showing the novelty of this game to me. But hopefully all of that can get some fancy feet and maybe pull off some big tricks here to make themselves get back in the game.
They've got to get going quick. If I'm Olivett, my goal is from the start, use this first minute. Do Olivett things, score early, get rid of that momentum, take control of the pace of the game, and don't let Mach 10 keep doing the thing that they've been doing oh so well, and that's putting pressure on. That's exactly what you do. You score early, 20-second goal for Class Wizard.
I mean, that was just from midfield, beautiful positioning, recognized it. They tried to challenge in the air, Mach 10 to their credit, which is honestly what I want to see, but a bit off the mark, that's going to cost you. First goal goes the way of Olivett.
And if I'm Olivett, that's exactly what I needed. I needed that so badly.
Yes.
It's a game-changing moment. You know, we saw a call out for a reverse sweep. I do certainly think that's possible. Olivett doesn't strike me as a team that's going to go down without some kind of fight to bring it to Mach 10. I mean, Olivett is shown to be a powerhouse. Early in the season, with the way they played against Omega in particular, there were calls of kind of... it was a statement piece from Olivett. So now, right before playoffs, with their second place in jeopardy to Mach 10, I refuse to believe that they go down in a sweep.
Right now, some back and forth action, not too much cohesive movement on either side, just a lot of clears, but an attempt at a flip reset, not going to quite work out for your way here. Corner center, a bit off the mark there, and Mach 10 going to gain possession right back, move it back down to center field. Now it's Mach 10 on the offensive pressure, but with Esfru on the offensive, it's an inevitability whether they get that goal. Evens the scoreboard, 1-1. Fantastic work to Mach 10.
Esfru has just been so fancy with it tonight. That is the second or third time that we've gotten to see a replay of Esfru dancing so wonderfully through the air. Just been perfect with it. And, you know, I was looking at a lot of game film for these teams. I was looking at a lot of Besby, Ateki, and Esfru was certainly somebody who I kept making notes of, who had some of the best ball control of any of the players that I saw watching through Riptide, and it's showing up here, and it's showing up when it's needed most.
That right there was fantastic defense from Mach 10, and it's because it was proactive. Like I said, they met them in the air and didn't allow Olivett to set the terms of engagement on their own side. Olivett now have to think about ways to not only move the ball down the field, but evade members of Mach 10 who are quite literally flying at them while they do it. But if anyone can do it, maybe it's 7's per up. Unfortunately, going to meet the big stop, and now Mach 10 are on the offensive once again.
Yeah, that's the thing about Seemaprosp is that, you know, again, when I was taking the notes, when I was watching the film, Seemaprosp was a player that just kind of seems like the sneaky dark horse of all of that. And you can't, like, you look at Wizards' defense, you look at the shots that always come out from Solinalo, the coast-to-coast play is Solinalo, and you forget of how good Seemaprosp is. And we're seeing that. They're putting so much pressure on Mach 10, but they haven't found anything yet. Now, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, and thankfully you're tied. But you still got a reverse sweep if you want to take this one out. That time is running out slowly but surely.
I don't like the fact that it's Esper on the offensive, especially if you're
No.
Olivett, a good center, but no one quite to meet it. You just need a team of Esperus, and then you'll get it good. I will say, I mentioned the fact that Esperu, oh, good center there, but unfortunately he's stopped by Mach 10. Esperu, as far as just how the game works, you need to have your team synergizing with you to make sure these plays are cohesive, but Esperu feels like the one person, as far as the players in this game, who can just take it from goal to theirs. Coast to coast can make these solo plays happen. A big demo might start something for Mach 10.
But it gets sent right back towards that Mach side of the field. Olivett just refused to go down every time. This is some of the best defense they've played so far. Did I speak too soon? Techie with some fancy moves. Salanalo waiting. It's going to be put right in front. No. It's off the crossbar. Who's there to follow up? Going to be nobody. Gets sent back out.
Solanalo got a lucky break there.
Esperu?
I like the attempt, though, but you have a more attempts here. Esperu coming from the wings. You'll notice that Esperu never seems to enjoy attacking from the front, always coming from these corner shots where they're least expected, but now Mach 10 have to play defense. They're succeeding at it for now, but Solanalo is not trying to let them get away with it. A good clear is going to let Mach 10 breathe a big sigh of relief.
Seemaprus sends it back out to Mach 10, but once again, Esperu just lying in wait. There's a demo, no bus speed. This is a good play for Olivett if they want to get some advantage off of it, but they're not going to do it right away. Esperu sending it back. You got to watch Esperu. Cannot leave Esperu up to chances. You can't leave that guy up to fate. He will score on you, and he will not feel bad about it. Bus speed going to pick up Class Wizard, but ball all the way back to that Mach 10 side. We're still tied up at 1-1. 45. Seemaprus! No way! Beautiful!
That is incredible. I mean, he didn't. I thought that was meant to be set up for a greater purpose, but Seemaprus says, I am the setup, and I am also the striker. Solanalo just going to watch and provide moral support, and now Olivett's up 2-1.
Olivett, I said it, they weren't going to go down without some kind of fight. And with match point for Mach 10, they had to put that exact fight up, and they're doing it. Solanalo sends it back out. Vespi waiting. If I'm Olivett, I go off the momentum here, and I try to run it through, but Esperu! Is he going to do Esperu things again? Class Wizard with a perfect block!
Beautiful. Came in right from the side, was expecting it this time. They know Esperu's game plan, but he's going to keep trying to make them learn it. They got to be careful. There's no follow-up there from Mach 10. They might have retreated back, expecting the offensive from Olivett. Doesn't matter. Techie grabs it for the tie.
15 seconds left, and Mach 10 said they want the sweep. They want to add a little bit of taste of some legacy right before the playoffs. They want to know what they did to Olivett when they walk out of here. Olivett, I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 more times, they're not going to go down without a fight. With 15 seconds left, that fight's got to be strong.
We've seen Olivett do it before, though, and they're trying to make it happen again. They have a bit more time. They're trying to make some attempts here, but unfortunately, they have a demo. Do you have a goal to follow? The aerial's not going to be quite made. He didn't have the angle on it. What's going to happen here, Anthony?
It's perfect. Is it going to get it set away? It does. It's going to touch. That's an overtime to stay alive if you're Olivett.
That was scary for Mach 10, man. Olivett just instantly putting on the momentum. It's being sent right back downfield, but they don't have strikers in position yet to come in from the left and right side.
Class Wizard!
Trying to make
That's it!
The dunk from S-Class Wizard, looking like he's from DC. Bradley Beal looking, gets Olivett game one on their side.
We are in for a treat between these two, man. Olivett coming up big when they needed it the most. A massive, massive, massive goal at the perfect time. And it timed out perfect with a short ad break. Look at that.
I'll take that.
These guys are playing on our team, but no, that was insane. Absolutely. That was...
Yeah.
You know, I've never... I'm not by any stretch of the imagination a Rocket League expert. But to know that I was right in saying that Olivett would not go down without some kind of massive fight makes me all of a sudden feel so much smarter.
Yeah, dude, no. Sometimes when your back's against the wall, the chips are down. That's when, a cornered rat's at its most dangerous, and Olivett showing The same thing goes for Olives. Didn't quite know that a dodge, but hey, add it to the parables. And that's going to be really huge because we talked about how important momentum is for them. You're feeling really great. Pulling out an overtime victory, that almost feels sometimes better than a stomp just because you're really showing out in the face of adversity. Both teams' mentals are at their peak, but they're still going to come at them with the victory despite everyone performing at their best.
Absolutely. And, you know, we saw it in chat. We've seen it from Hype. We heard it today in the Discord. Game 5 was something that is not out of the question. And if Olivett have their way, if they can build on that momentum of not going down, not letting it be a sweep, I'm starting to think I don't entirely disagree.
I would love to see a Game 5 here in Olivett trying to bring that for us, keeping it on Mach 10's side. Unfortunately, their S-Class Wizard didn't quite have the angle necessary. I like, though, that Olivett's kind of throwing themselves at the ball a bit more. They're getting a bit more dicey with it. We saw them having more aerial engagements prior, and that's good. It's what you want to see. You don't want to see, though, Esperu moving it down from the corner.
Class Wizard sends it over, but Techie is lying in wait. Class Wizard playing more offense than we've seen in recent from Olivett. But look at the setup. Is it perfect? Not quite, thanks to Techie with a perfect save, but Salanalo still waiting, gets it back. Bit of a fake there, intentional or not. Class Wizard can't quite follow up yet.
In an opposite kind of dichotomy to Esru, who seems to like to attack from the wings, I'm seeing S-Class Wizard oftentimes waiting for setup at the center from his team.
Sema!
Set up though. Semaprost just takes the goal.
That was so sneaky. I mean, it fits the scouting report, but come on.
Beautiful. Off the rebound there. Can't complain about that. Fantastic work there to Olivett. Took a bit longer than the normal MO, minute goal in, but a goal's a goal. We'll take that if it's the first one again. You're riding that wave, and you're hopefully riding it to a Game 4 victory.
I mean, I'll go on record now. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes Game 5. I mean, Mach 10, their momentum's kind of been swept out. I feel like their heads are definitely still in it because we're still seeing the same kind of play from players such as Esferu. Open, we're going to get blocked out by Class. Massive. The demo did make a good position for that defense. Esferu still lying in wait. But again, I feel like Olivett getting that hint, that whiff of a chance might have been too much for Mach Academy to allow to happen. Salanalo trying to make that happen, but just taps the corner. It's not going to quite get in the net.
That was nearly beautiful. Just didn't quite have the best angle on it. It was a bit too much of a perpendicular side to come in from to actually be able to flick it in.
I forgot my protractor.
Great attempt. Now Techie's trying to move it back down. Seems that Olivett seem to have the solution to the offensive hope of Mach 10, that being Esfru. They're being more proactive. They're challenging him directly, sending it full force at him when they can, and sending it right back at Mach 10's goal. But unfortunately, don't quite have it this time.
All that pressure from Mach 10 on this defense is making it kind of hard to line up clean shots no matter how much you keep it on this side of the field. And that's something that Olivett is not being able to respond to perfectly. And Mach 10 is doing so well. They're keeping up with it. They're playing aggressive defense. That may be the only reason that there hasn't been more scores. But right there, Mach 10's going to tie it up at 1 with 2:30 to go. They said Game 5, who we wanted now.
Must be. That was just beautiful movement, man. All by himself there, was able to juke out two players, and that's unfortunately a return back to the defense that I don't want to see from Olivett. It's just the hop from Wizard. That's not going to work for you. When one challenge in midair doesn't work, send a second person up there, hassle the person with the ball, make their job a living hell to get that thing into the posts.
2 minutes, 20 seconds left. Mach 10 trying to take this one home and march into second place. Olivett just trying to hang on and force a Game 5. At this point, we're tied up 1-1. I see all the chance for a Game 5, and I want to see that happen. We could have asked for a better series for our first Rocket League castee.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Jeez. I mean,
I know, like, for us?
Thank you. Just for us, it feels like. Esferu is just sending us a love letter, but not sending the ball.
That's a huge demo.
A big demo could open them up. Oh, no. The scent wasn't quite there. The center's good, but Solanalo just didn't quite have the angle on it. And now trying to do as much as they can to bring it back into center field. You have waiting there from Semaprost, but not quite in the position to actually capitalize.
Esferu going to tap one up to try to get it back out of there, but again, Olivett just do not want to let the ball leave that side of things, and when it does, Salanalo has been waiting, playing a lot of defense in this particular game. Class Wizards been playing midfield offense. Techie was lined up perfect, but it does get snubbed out at the last second, leading to a clear away. Esferu, lying in wait, does get a shot off, but it's a bit wide. So still some time to breathe, if you're Olivett. Now Wizard does send it back out, but again, Esfru's waiting. He's waiting every time, D. This shot might be the one, but it's blocked up by Salanalo.
Maybe showing why he doesn't like to go off the front because the backboard just didn't quite have the setup necessary for you to get your own goal. But now, all of that is going to return it right back to their side of the field. And less than a minute into this game, it's tied up. You got to be feeling the pressure.
Oh!
Perfectly centered. Salanalo grabs it to break it for 2-1.
Is that a game 5 I hear? I'm starting to hear it. I feel like it's down the street.
I think I might hear game 5. I don't know. It might be the smooth jazz, but I think I'm hearing something for sure. It's the cheers of Olivett as they keep their hopes alive to stay in this for second place.
The cheers for Olivett and the chance for Solo. Now with 45 seconds left, the chance for a game 5 if you're Olivett, not wanting to go down so easy. Mach 10 just trying to hold things together. They still are on match point. That doesn't change just because of the vibes, but for Olivett, the vibes are everything right now with 30 seconds to go.
And the vibes say attack, 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 and I like that. They're not turtling. They're not trying to focus on all defense. They say there's still points to be had here, boys, but best be careful. Esfru's on the prowl, and he's looking for the exact same thing. I'm loving this offensive demo play. It's forcing Mach 10 to really think about their positioning. You can't just stay still and hang around the goal, or you might get swept up by someone going supersonic speeds.
8 seconds left. Are we looking at another overtime so far? Olivett does clear it out. It's a chase down. It gets sent back by Techie. Salanalo waiting. This could be the thing that stops us. Are we going to a game 5? It's still up in the air. Things could always change. Esfru aggressive. Techie waiting. It gets blocked out. Not quite. Not quite. In overtime. Bestby waits, but it's going to touch. It's going to be a game 5.
That was awesome.
Had to take a water sip there. I needed a breath.
I got my sippy cup on deck. You know me.
Sippy cup time.
Hell yeah, man.
Somebody give me uppies. Somebody give
5-year-old
me love.
decorator room. Bro, I'm a child. I'm playing video games. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
It's almost like they knew it was our first time on here.
Jeez. Let's talk about the game, Anthony. What's been going on here, man? Olivett just somehow been able to find the greatest second win possible, and they're now looking to actually take it over Mach 10 after being down 2-0.
If I'm Mach 10, it's full panic time. I mean, I know that's not like the greatest thing to say, but Olivett, from game 1, sort of turned into this weird pseudo underdog just from the play of Mach 10 and how much pressure was being put, and just all of a sudden it just dissipated, and it became Mach 10's playing field turned into Olivett's playground.
Yeah, and if you let them just play the game they want, it's going to spell poorly for you. And once again, Olivett on the offensive pressure. Salanalo trying to make something happen. Doesn't quite come to pass, but I like the aggression once again from them.
It's our first game with RLSS, and we've made it to Champions Field, so things are already exciting, but now Olivett want to try to get another pre-1-minute goal, and they will do just that! I've never seen a more clear MO, and once again, it belongs to Solo.
That just is unfortunate. You weren't quite sure what Techie was positioning for, maybe anticipating some more wall shenanigans, but nonetheless was just kind of hanging out on that wall, being a little fly on the wall. We need to be a fly in the goal as the ball flies into the goal. Olivett take it up goal 1. Esfru's trying to once again move it down, and now you're seeing some demos come off the side of Mach 10, but now it's sent back to their side indeed. Esfru's got to speed it back there for a hasty defense.
There's no more staying alive. It's win time. Winner of this will take second place with playoffs quite literally a week away. It's time to make or break. You want to get in that playoff mindset, this is your moment to do it. A game 5, a big moment, a very evenly matched team. This is the perfect time to do it. And Olivett, their goal is to keep it out of their side, to keep pressure on the Mach 10 side. That's what we've seen, to make shots like that from Class Wizard around that half field mark. And Mach 10's job this game is to figure out how to handle all that aggression on their side of the field.
That was so close. Salanalo had some brilliant setup there. Was almost able to, in fact, get it in himself, but as Class Wizard was positioned, Don't quite have it this time. I like that they're sending it at each other. They're just kind of dedicating themselves to these flips, but maybe keep that reserved resource in pocket. Otherwise, you could be dedicating a bit too much and overcommitting to an offensive engagement that's not going to succeed.
Bestby?
Perfectly
Bestby!
Mach 10, and Busby's in position to even it up.
Perfect timing. That was exactly what Mach 10 needed. We're tied up with 3 minutes and 28 seconds left in Game 5 of our debut in RLSS. I didn't write a script, I swear. These teams are not paid.
I've got to confess something to you, Anthony. I've actually gone around to the bat.
My bad,
everyone. But no, Olivett, they're doing fantastic. It might be trying to re-ascertain their lead, but not quite able to. Semis trying to make something happen here, but hanging back around the midfield as S-Class to just kick it right back to their side. Seems that S-Class is more content with hanging back at least to the midfield and trying to make movement happen for the other offensive force of the team. But Mach 10 now, a force to be reckoned with, trying to move it back off their side, so don't have to worry about it. But I don't know, it's just a lot of back and forth action. Haven't quite had anyone with too much long possessions for the time being.
2 minutes 50 left, still tied at 1-1 in Game 5 here. Second place around the corner. Mach 10 is trying to step back up to the moment, but Olivett, they have reached that moment. They're looking for the reverse sweep, and Mach 10 trying to hang on. They don't want those memes. They don't want that. They don't want that drama. They just want to get out of here clean.
It's almost worse than a regular sweep and you get reverse sweep.
Oh,
it just feels
for
bad.
sure.
You're riding high, you're riding the wave of victory, and then all of a sudden, what happens, right? But that's a beautiful setup, but where was the follow-up is the question. Esfru, we know, likes to hang in these wings, likes to maybe be either the solo playmaker or complete setup. Never wants to actually be set up too, either wants to be his own setup or set up for someone else. And Busby as well as Techie trying to make something happen for themselves, but at this point they've expended a lot of resources and don't quite have any jet fuel left in the tank to make it happen.
Mach 10 has pitched a camp on Olivett's side of the map, and they just cannot seem to get them out so far. It's squatting time for Mach 10, and Olivett's got to find some kind of answer. They got to do it soon, because you cannot let Esfru, you can't let Techie, you can't let anybody from Mach 10 hang out this long on your side of the field. You're just asking for trouble. No matter how good of a defense Solo and Class Wizard have put on, you just got to get it away from here. And they can't do it. It finally crosses midfield under control of Solo, but he can't quite get it set up just yet. Sima with a good reset.
Oh.
Busby's waiting. Solo not going to be quite on the mark for a potential pinch.
I mean, you had opportunities there, but a bit of an obvious approach that telegraphed, and now soaring through the skies will be met with Olivett's defense. Second attempt here off the backboard, but not centered perfectly. It's going to be Semis able to clear it out, but his life's been cleared out as well. A good demo is going to put Olivett a man down.
Oh, but Olivett was waiting. They didn't care about that man down. Class Wizard did Class Wizard things off the play from Solo. It worked out perfect. It's a 2-1 lead with 1 minute and 8 seconds left in Mach 10. It's drawing board time. Quick, right in the expo board as fast as you possibly can. I want that whiteboard covered in some kind of play to turn things around. 1 minute to go. Second place on the line.
I mean, Olivett, they said, we don't need a 3v3. In fact, the 3v3 is a handicap match on our side. We can just run it with 2 men down, and they're going to be able to succeed in that remark. 1 minute left now remaining. It really is panic hour. DEFCON 1 has been obtained for Mach 10. They need to find a way to just move it down. Send it. Defense is no longer an option at this point. You're about to get reverse sweep here if you can't make it happen. But Olivett's defense.
Solo did it again! Another great save! They keep coming at the perfect times. Now Mach 10 trying to get fancy just outside of the net of Olivett, but it gets handled so far pretty well. Techie trying to reset. There's got to be somebody there to make a play off of it. Somebody has to take advantage. How much longer can Olivett make these hero plays before Mach 10 get their own? 15 seconds left.
Esfru's never being allowed to have the ball for too long, and fantastic clear there. Esfru's once again here to receive, but what can he do with it? He's got minimal boost, not quite the resources to pull off those fancy moves. It's 5 seconds left.
They got to clear it. They got to go coast to coast with 1 second. Ball's going to stay up now if they want to tie it. I don't know if it's possible. Techie's keeping it up in the air, and Bestby's ready, but it's going to fall. It's going to be an Olivett victory. They're going to take that second place with a thank you kindly. It's a reverse sweep. Our first RLSS cast, and it's a reverse sweep. I almost shouldn't be surprised.
They proved their namesake. They didn't come for some of it, Anthony. They came for all of it. But no, for real, credit to them. They did a fantastic job. I mean, you don't also want to fault members of Mach 10. Esfru and the rest of the boys put up a great defense, some great offensive plays as well. But at the end of the day, all of it, the momentum, it crushed them.
I'm absolutely in shock. The reverse sweep, Mach 10 just came out so strong from the gate, but it was just answered so well. I truly believe that Olivett is in those last 3 games put themselves into an early playoff form. I think if you wanted to enter playoffs with the best mindset possible and you needed some kind of scripted storyline moment, right, to do it, that was the one. To be able to reverse sweep a team like Mach 10 Academy back against the wall like that, the kind of mindset that must add is just insane.
Yeah, man. I mean, Mach 10 might be the academy, but all of that took them to school. Gotta say, there's some fantastic plays on there. And I mean, I love the defensive efforts that we saw from the beginning. I did mention the fact that there's some reservations on them playing a bit too stagnant. I think they really did a great job changing that up. They got a bit more mobile, a bit more adventurous, and that's when they started making those more daring offensive plays that granted them those leads and forced Mach 10 to get a bit more wily, get a bit more zany, maybe a bit more careless than they normally would have had things been more so in their favor.
Looks like we do get to go and have a quick word with Solo Nalo of Olivett Gaming. Deelo, let's head in there. Let's have some talk season. Let's get an idea. Let's get an idea of the vibes.
An idea.
Hello, guys, and congratulations on a reverse sweep. Are you kidding me? Do you guys know?
Congrats,
you guys knew it was
for
my
real.
first cast, but come on, for me, you
Yeah.
shouldn't have.
I'll tell you what, that's not exactly what we planned, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, let's kind of get into nitty gritty. It was a tough start. Mach 10 really came out of the gate swinging, which is usually your guys' MO. You love to get that first goal pre 1 minute into the game, set the tone, and Mach 10 seemed to be ready for that.
Yeah, they really they took advantage of us game 1 and 2. We were just all over the place. We weren't making connections. And it's scary when you go down 2-0 like that because you know the game's on the line and every move you make can be a mistake or it can win you the game. We busted out of the elevator, I guess, on game 3, 4, and 5.
So tell me about the mindset on that match point. You guys were able to turn it around, but it took a lot. Mach 10 was really trying to get that sweep out. Was there anything in particular in comms? Did somebody have to step up, kind of say something big, get everybody on the same page? Or was it more of a, we don't even care what the score is, we're just going to keep playing until we're not allowed to keep doing our double jumps?
In between games, I'll tell you what, our comms were very minimal. It was kind of just reflection at that point. We had said a couple things of, hey, we're playing too fast. That's what we really thought is we're playing too fast. We needed to spread out, and I think that kind of worked out for us. But even after game 3 winning it, man, it was silent. I think we were just kind of shocked, surprised what was going on, and like I said, we're lucky to come out alive on this one.
100%. But you guys did come out alive, and before my friend Deelo here has a couple of questions for you guys too. My last one is so smoke clears, chaos clears, and you guys you forced a game 5. You're in game 5 now, and it seemed like your key was really kind of trying to control the offense of Mach 10 and not go on defense until you were comfortable, because some of the shots that we were seeing from everybody really, but from Esfru and Techie in particular, were just completely bonkers. So what was kind of the mindset of how we can control this, and was there a play to it, or was it just we gotta tighten up?
No, it was definitely our rotations, but it wasn't giving them space. It was making sure that we had somebody on the ball at all times, whether it was a 50-50 or just us in the area. We had a couple demo plays that helped out. It's making sure that they understand that we're there, our presence is felt, and I think it worked out well. I mean, we scored the first goal like 22 seconds in. I think it was 4:38 on the clock. And I told my teammates, I was like, guys, this is game 1. We did the same thing. We got to lock it down. And gosh, I mean, we almost blew it again. So it definitely a learning experience for us, and moving on. I mean, this is the end of the regular season. We did great, hoorah. But at the end of the day, it's playoffs, and anything happens in playoffs.
Absolutely. And Deelo, if you have any questions, please.
Yes, thank you. Well, one, thank you guys for the performance. Like Anthony said, it's
For
fantastic of your inaugural cast be so much taste action. It's genuinely crazy. So, I mean, Wizard, really magician behind the scenes there, making so much happen. But my question, I guess, for you is when the chips are down, two zip, it's rough, things are looking dire. Do you guys really more so focus on shutting down? You guys touched on a little bit, but more so, is it a focus on preventing what the opponent's doing, or is it more so playing our game? Do we think about anything outside of internal, or do we focus more on the external when things are looking a bit more rough?
It's definitely internal thinking. Just we, like I said, we weren't playing our game. We know how we could play. We worked together, and it just felt like at times like we were clueless, or we double committed. And I mean, we were on the back of our heels a couple times, and it's really like we need to kind of step up together. We need to play our game, communicate. I mean, our communication went through the roof after game 4. I mean, game 5 was fantastic communication. But when you're down 2-0, yeah, I mean, we were looking internally at each other saying, what's going on? Let's fix this out. Let's spread out. That's the biggest thing.
And to piggyback off that, what you just said, so following kind of the journey there, you took from being at the lowest of lows right there, 2-0, looking at the door, to ending up actually getting one game. What does that post look like? After game 4, you take one, okay, things are starting to look a bit less rough for us. What is the after-game mentality once you have something for the board?
Yeah, so, you're down 1-2 now. It's still game point for them. That's the biggest thing. It's, we got to win another game. So, yeah, we just won. Some things clicked. Let's see if they work again. And, lo and behold, they did. I believe we went into overtime again. So it's just, we try to take the mentality of every game's a different game. It's 0-0 on the scoreboard. We got to go into this. It doesn't matter what the series score is. We're just trying to win the game.
That's an admirable mentality. And I think your tenacity really shows for it because, dang, man, it's hard. I think there's a lot of character to be shown, not only just when your back's completely against the wall, but once you get a bit of relief, a bit of reprieve, what you do with that is also incredibly telling. And you guys really pulled it together, put on a show for us. So once again, thank you for that, but also congratulations. You guys played excellently.
Thank you. I from what I turned your guys', no offense, I turned your cast off after game 1. I was a little upset of what was going on.
I'm sure.
From what I heard, it was fantastic. So I'm hoping to watch this VOD and really enjoy this one.
Yeah, well, thanks for segueing me. Look at you. You're an absolute pro. I am gonna put all of my RLSS VODs on YouTube, and I'll make sure you guys all get links so you can look back and VOD review and such. But yeah, thank you so much for being a part of it, and no hard feelings. Believe me when I tell you that Deelo and I we've been casting together for quite a bit, especially on some on Smite, and we have quite often heard let's say a thing or two from some players on some stuff we were saying. So honestly, I'll take you just turning it off as a compliment.
Genuinely, thank you.
No, yeah, no problem.
Is there anything you wanted to say or shout out, by the way?
Yeah, shout out. We got a lot of friends and family that watch us. We're awesome. We're actually a family team. All of us are brothers or cousins.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's really nice. And
like an olive branch. I get it.
Yeah, so it's a big community, and we love everybody who watches us. We got a lot of support from the 5CE boys. We got a lot of support just all around, and I think that's the biggest shout out. And shout out to you guys, man. You guys, from what I understand, are doing great. I mean, with these questions, they're fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see what you guys can do.
Yeah, we're excited to be here. Believe me when I tell you that. But I'll stop holding you up. I'm sure you want to go celebrate with the rest of the olive branches and and celebrate your comfortable seating in second place with playoffs right around the corner. And good luck. I'm sure you guys are going to have a fantastic run and a competitive one at that. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Congrats, guys.
All right, Deelo. I have moved us over so we can kind of say our final thoughts. An insane game. I can't believe that was our first Rocket League cast. I'll do a couple small little thank yous and housekeeping things, but Deelo, give me your final thoughts on a crazy first night for us. Well, looks like I might have lost Deelo. Unfortunate timing there. Not on the goodbye. Say it isn't so. Oh, looks like we lost him on the goodbye. That is That is unfortunate to say the least. But I will certainly send my love from Deelo on a fantastic end there. It was a we can see him. He can wave to us. But it was a fantastic end there for Deelo. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the cast tonight, and stopping in, viewing it up. We're excited to be here. Like I said, the VOD will be on YouTube. Thank you, Tommy. I'm gonna raid a friend of mine. Just super laid back vibes. I thought it might be nice after an exciting cast, especially how exciting it ended up being. You know, even if you stay for a minute or two to say hello, he is a incredibly nice guy. Good friend of mine as well. Thank you for watching, and I hope that there is more to come here at RLSS. If you want to see anything else we do, Deelo, myself are usually in the same cast. Just check all the panels I have at the bottom. Thanks, guys. We will see you soon. Oh, username invalid. Twitch is lying. Regardless, good night.
Speaking of the Embliss cord, Anthony, the man who's done it with me since day fucking one. Yo, what's up, Tommy? Welcome on in, man.